Good day, guys, Austin here, and in this one today, it's time for a bit of Emu-Nation, which means that it's something to do with all kinds of emulation news, games, front ends, pretty much anything that takes my fancy. But this one's a special one this week, guys, because we've got the usuals, Cemu, Citra, we've got some fan-made games, and we've got all kinds of gossip revolving around, well, what I've just talked about. However, this one's got a competition in here too, and it's a biggie. I've got 4 keys for new retro arcade. All you need to do is stick it to the end. I know I'll waffle on a bit, but at the end I will give you details of the competition, and on Monday it will be released. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Welcome back to Emu-Nation, and as always, first off we're going to kick off with the emulation news, and this week is no different from every other bloody week we do this. Cemu's first, and Cemu has been updated, and by God was it updated. Now I'm going to go into this in a fully fledged video to go into a lot of details, showing you the actual emulator, where it's come from, where it's going, the kind of systems, and how it plays on various builds of systems, in other words AMD, Intel, different graphics cards, different RAM, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. I'm going to go into that in a lot more detail in a dedicated video. However, what I want to focus on this one is the actual updates which the developer unleashed upon us last weekend. Now, last Saturday, the time of me upping this video, they brought us, for the Patreon members, 1.6.1. Now, the previous version to that was focusing mostly on compatibility. However, in this incarnation, they brought to us performance, and they did do in barrels. The performance of the games, which is now made more compatible, is absolutely mind-boggling. Many of the games which were almost there, many of the games which weren't even working, are now fully fledged, 100%, not just full speed, but looking good also. They've managed to get the performance in terms of speed and get those minor issues and glitches cleared up. Now, there are still problematic games. You cannot play every game from the Wii U catalogue. We're not up to that level yet. However, we are now getting to the stage where the majority of the games are at least playable, and pretty much a load of the games, especially the more popular ones, are still 100% playable. That's absolutely mind-boggling considering how long this emulator's been out. Now, this update was, again, focusing on performance. And to be more specific, they were focusing more on the universal GPU buffer cache. Now, this is the way that the emulator brings the actual visualizations of the games to your screen. And what they wanted to do was streamline that and cut out the small issues which were bugging it. In other words, they had a lot of texture issues. So some of the textures were getting mixed up, some of the textures were overloaded and bottlenecking the actual performance of the games. That has been streamlined, and a lot of the games have felt that kind of benefit, and they are now 100% playable in terms of speed. Many of the graphical glitches are also cleared up. I noticed some of the minor artifacts and lighting issues which are bugging many of the games have also been cleared up too. And there are various different features and tabs which have been added to the emulator to give you more options in that kind of stuff. Also, they added NFC support. This is basically amiibos. Now, as of yet, on this incarnation, we're looking at read-only. So if you've got an amiibo, if you've got an amiibo file or something like that, again, more detail, I'll go into this in my dedicated video. But if you've got that kind of file format or amiibo support, then you can utilize that. However, you can only read the data from your amiibos or from your file formats. You cannot rewrite them to the amiibo once it's done, because that feature hasn't been enabled yet. They didn't have time, as far as I'm aware. Other than that, then, it's just a pretty much generic cleanup. This, as I talked about, was focusing more on performance and small bug fixes, so I wasn't expecting much. This will be, at the time of me releasing this video, released today. It's absolutely awesome. So make sure that you download this emulator, make sure that you get your Wii U fired up, and at least see if your computer can handle it. Again, I will be talking about this more in a dedicated video, hopefully to be released this week. It just depends on how many machines I can build to test all this out. Elsewhere then, we've got Citra. And Citra, as always, is constantly being developed. Now, on the previous installments of my Emu-Nations, you've probably seen some of the unofficial builds and some of the performance that this was providing the Citra scene. However, there was various talk about if Citra was happy with this, so on and so forth. So I kind of got onto the Discord stuff and I had a chat with some of the guys over there to see their point of view, because I just wanted to get it straight from the horse's mouth. Now, the guys over there who are working on this are absolutely spot on. I mean, they have nailed the ethics and everything that is involved in this scene. Of course, emulation is a very grey area and it's hard to tiptoe around certain subjects. The last thing that they want to do is do any copyright infringement, step on anyone's toes, or cause any of this scene any harm at all. They are more than happy to help anybody over there and, well, progress this emulator and everything about this scene forward. So hats off to you for that. Now, some of the stuff that I was talking about was the unofficial build stuff and their standpoint on this. Up to now, the unofficial builds are out there, and they're just plain old Citra. It's not made by some top secret team in some crazy little country somewhere that is knocking out all these advanced and futuristic ideas taken from a time traveler that has seen Citra in the future. It's actually just the Citra team and all the stuff that's going on in the open source environment. You gotta imagine, GitHub is a place where everybody can amalgamate all their ideas, all their code, all the different branches of what they want to incorporate into the main Citra. Now, all these ideas are absolutely amazing, and it's highly encouraged that everybody jumps on this and develops as much as they can. However, one idea could cause absolutely groundbreaking breakthroughs in one field of the emulation. However, that could also cause detrimental effects to another part of the code. So what happens is somebody makes something, people start testing, people start using. If it works, it gets incorporated into the main code, and that brings you into the official build. If it doesn't, it either gets fixed or it gets abandoned, and so on and so forth, and it evolves, it works upon, and, well, it brings us the Citra that we know today. Of course, anybody at any point can go into all the different versions of Citra and all the different branches, amalgamate them all together and come up with a cutting-edge Citra build. And it may be a lot better than what we've already got out there, but it could also cause detrimental damage to the official builds of Citra. So, after extreme testing, that is what becomes the official version. Now, the other caveat to this is the fact that some of these unofficial builds include files that Citra themselves cannot include in their emulator. You've got to imagine this comes from an actual physical system developed by Nintendo and has its own operating system, its own games, and its own technology. Some of these games rely upon certain files inside the actual physical 3DS. Now, all these files that are in there are actually copyrighted, and these cannot be included in the actual official build of the emulator, because if they did, they would be breaking the law. So it's up to you guys to actually dump your own files from your own 3DS to get these working to its full potential. Many of these unofficial builds may or have included some of these files, and that is what does get a bit grey and can cause damage to the Citra community. So with this in mind, the unofficial builds are not supported directly from the Citra guys. Hopefully that will clear a couple of things up from you guys and kind of give you a bigger picture about what's going on over there. However, it's not all doom and gloom, because the Citra community have actually woken up to this and they have seen that there is a gap for people who want the cutting edge technology. Same that's coming out with nightly builds and all kinds of other emulators. So if you was to go onto their webpage, you will see in the download section now they have added the bleeding edge builds. So now not only have you got the official build, which is incorporating everything that's been fixed, everything that's doing good, and big thumbs up and smiles all round, but it's also bringing you the daily cutting edge builds, which means that these are builds that people are seeing great compatibility into performance with, but they may not be tested to the full potentials. So use at your own peril. It's not that bad. They just may not work, that's all. And if they don't, just use another version of the build, so on and so forth. It's all there, and there is far more documentation and information along with this on their website. I highly encourage you guys to get involved with it. So this now brings me on to the gaming news, and this week's had some little pleasures, I'm sure, and it's all to do with fan remakes, and also, as if by chance, it's all Konami-based games. Now, first up, we're looking at Castlevania 1. This is a complete remake from the ground up using the Unreal Engine, and it's pretty sympathetic to the original Castlevania that was released on the Nintendo Entertainment System back in the day. It's absolutely awesome, and the guy has apparently been working on this for a full year. Little details have been disclosed to this date. However, this is a complete fan remake, and it's going to be released into the itch.io Halloween Jam 2016. I've got no idea if it'll last that long, because I'm sure Konami have already got their lawyers writing out little bits of paperwork to bring the ban hammer down on this. But I'll put links to the description down below. Grab it as you can. It's completely free. It is, as of now, not yet finished. In fact, it's only the first level or so. But now it's been brought to the public. More people are jumping on board, so who knows where this could go before Konami strike. Next up then, we've got yet another Konami-based game, and this one is a classic. I love this game. However, it's recently had some love. Policenauts. Now, this is a Japanese-based game, directed by Hideo Kojima, and just that name alone already tells you how much quality is within this game. Now, this was released on the PlayStation, the Saturn, 3DO, and various other platforms. However, it was never translated officially into English. A few years back, some people got amongst the PlayStation version and they made a fan remake translating it into English so other people could play it. And it's a pretty damn awesome game. However, the Saturn version is the definitive version in many people's eyes, due to the fact that its FMV is in full 24 frames per second, whereas the PlayStation was in 15. It's got light gun support, added scenes, added dialogue, in-game glossary, and other various features that go along with it. So the Saturn version was the one that everybody wanted to jump all over. This month, it's seen the full release of that fan-made translation onto the Saturn, which means that everybody can enjoy it. And trust me guys, this is one to jump all over. I love this game. It is absolutely beautiful. The storyline is gripping. The direction of everything that Hideo Kojima does is true to his nature. The guy should have just made a film, for God's sake. It's absolutely awesome. Anyway guys, that's enough of me blowing Policenauts trumpet. Trust me though, get involved. Links in the description down below where you can get more information. It's one to have in your collection. Well, this now brings me to the end of this video. However, as I promised at the beginning, there is some little bits of information that may tickle your fancy. One of them being a competition. Now, I've got 4 keys for new retro arcade neon, and this is a Steam key, 4 of them in total, and they'll be given to one of you guys that are watching today. All you need to do is put in the description down below why you would like one of these keys, share this video, and that's it. On Monday, I will disclose who wins one of those 4 keys, and I will also do another video showing you how to set it up, and also put in another 4 keys for another competition. Jesus Christ, it's like a never-ending snake of keys and Steam and games and all kinds of that jazz. But again, all you need to do again is write in there why you would like this key, and share the video. That is it. That is it. If I see that in there on Monday, I will randomly select 4 of you to receive these keys. Because there is so much news this week, I am putting this into 2 parts. So also, again, early next week, probably on Monday, I'll be releasing part 2 of this Emu-Nation. There's just been far too much for me to catch up on since my holiday, getting all this information back to you guys, so we're back on an even slate, so we're all singing on the same hymn sheet. For now, I'm playing catch up, so this one's going to come out in 2 parts, because it's, well, too long at the end of the day, isn't it? Also, I've got my Bar Top Arcade competition coming next week. It's just like a big, massive giveaway on my channel at the moment. And I've got some tutorials on Dolphin, the VR stuff going on, and countless other things as per normal. So please, thank you for joining me today, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. Please tell your friends all about the glorious times you spent watching this video. Please like, please subscribe. Please do all the things that people normally do in a Castlevania dark world full of Halloweenish vampires and werewolves. But most of all, guys, most of all, you have a good day. Laters!